design student is having early studio times for 3 years, from 8:30 till 12:30 every Tuesday and Friday morning. A lot of time I was rushing to class, grabbing a coffee or 2 or 3, and running up all the stairs and being very out of breath by the time I get to the top, just like everybody else.
All right, everyone, we're halfway to our goal.
For sponsorship, we basically took our goal and we divided it by the amount of students in our class. So it turned out to be $250 each. It was up to the students to find that $250, whether it was from their parents or just somewhere that you normally go and you're friends with the people. So we mostly contacted our hot leads opposed to cold leads, just because we knew that they were most likely going to sponsor us. To make up for some of the people that we didn't get the money from, we turned to hosting our own fundraiser events. I hosted one of them. It was the concert, and my brother and my cousin have a band, so I asked them if they could sponsor their talent by playing at the show. And then they also had friends that are in a band called the Alex Butler Band, so they also participated. And then my good friend Dimitri Bistekos DJ the starting of the event and then the ending of the event, and it was actually a very successful event, and I'm quite proud of it. The second event we had was a yoga beer event. So essentially, you pay so much money, and then you get a free yoga experience, plus you get to drink beer on the side, so that was also good too. Thanks to all of our sponsors that who gave us some money and supported our event. This was all made possible because of you guys.
Check. We are on site here at NSCAD campus, and right now we're taking photos of all the grad students for our website.
So
Come see.
This is good. This is nice.
This is where people pose. We got Sasan, Sam, chilling, editing photos, checking out which ones they like. And this is where the magic happens. Right here.
We booked the lighting studio in a kind of a last minute and busy time of the school, and we asked everyone to come to the lighting studio on Friday afternoon after our studio class. And then I never had a chance to shoot like 17 students before in the past, or shoot a portrait of like 17 students at the same time. So it was quite a challenge for me. And I was thinking, are we going to take it very seriously, or should be fun, or what we have to do exactly? I really didn't have anything in my mind specifically. So when we started with Royan, he was the first one. So I thought maybe it doesn't make sense to ask everyone to sit very straight and without any laugh in their face. So I thought maybe let's make it more casual and more friendly. So it was there. I asked Nicole, maybe she helped me to talk with the people to make them laugh, and I was there just pointing and shooting. Uh, so yeah, it was pretty good. Some people, they weren't feel really comfortable in front of the camera, uh, which we required to spend more time with them talking, to change the position, change their mood, make them more comfortable in the space, in the studio. And we try them again with some of the students. We ask them to leave and come back again, so we had this opportunity to shoot them in a way we wanted to be, or because we want to be all the photos to look kind of similar in a way.
I should have went with that freaking idea. I should have gone here and kept my makeup.
I should have got that
Great idea.
Who is next?
All of them are just gonna look like me, like like this. Like this. Like this. Oh. No, one.
Oh, like a baby.
So we decide to shoot black and white because our branding is black and white. So based on that, we decide to shoot black and white, and we take a gray backdrop, and then we ask everyone to wear dark clothes, so we can be able to make some sort of contrast between front and back.
I think for most of our class, this is really our first experiences exhibiting our work in this way with a lot of people who are going to see it. And it's very exciting, but it's also presented a number of different challenges. And I think part of what has made this a great experience is that we've worked together to overcome those different challenges. And I'm really happy with where we've ended up. We really wanted to use this show as an opportunity to highlight how the design program at NSCAD is very isolated in a lot of ways, and with that being sort of separate, we use those parentheses to kind of like show how, yes, we're isolated, but we're part of the bigger whole and deserving of attention that the rest of the disciplines at the institution gets.
Oh, and another thing we talked about for food is that we think we should have like some set aside just for us, because I noticed last year at the grad show, like you don't have time to go eat during the day and everyone's pretty nervous, so like we should figure out a room that we can have to put all our stuff and lock our stuff, and also for like food and water, and we thought we could use the gift cards that we got for that.
We can
Who was interested in each committee position, and then we did a vote during one of our studio classes to see who was interested in having which person in which position. Most of the positions there was just one person running anyway, so it was a pretty democratic process. And it ended up that me, Ryan, and Shayla, Nicole, Jim, and Sam were all selected to be a part of it. Kind of put off meeting as a committee until the second semester, but Ryan and I had lots of meetings coming up before Christmas break to start bringing in money. Met with Sam from Cassette, formerly from Cassette, and he helped us figure out who we should talk to at the school. Last year they had been involved in the branding process, but we decided to do branding in-house with Ryan, Jim, and Hal, who did a great job. They started in the second semester as well. Once we all met back for our Studio 6 and figured out what we had to do during that studio, we broke off the class into smaller committees. So we had exhibition, or the actual exhibit, who I think was Pinu, Stephanie, Sasan, and Sophie working on that. They did a lot of 3D modeling and mock-ups to figure out how they're going to use this really narrow space.
Because it's like it's starting to change like what the visual language.
So it began with the idea that I wanted to bring in industry professionals to start to give the class a real feel, so that you start to feel and talk to people in the industry, which you have been thinking about for the last 4 years but may not have had the chance to do, as well as connect with them in case you want to connect with them afterwards. But I mean, the real goal was to let the students have the opportunity to ask questions with these professionals, with the idea that they may want to seek employment in that area. So, for example, today we had interdisciplinary designer Gord Morrison, who comes from a lot of different disciplines. We had illustrator, we had package designers, we've had branding designers, we've had agencies versus a one-off. So there was a lot of professionals to give particular insight into each of the industries.
Or it's like, okay, I'm going to do one thing and I'm going to do it really well. Yeah.
On the project front, I wanted to kind of test the waters as to find out where you guys were on your learning curve. But ultimately, with the independent project, so I started with a personal branding project to do that, and run you through a process and through brainstorming that you may not have been put through in the past few years. And if you haven't, it might not have been used a lot. So I wanted you to have the process that I would normally go through, so that you could start to feel what it's like to try all of the different parts of the process. But then to the second project, your independent project, I really wanted to be more hands-off and let you guys fumble and find out how to focus, with the idea that I gave you a process to work through and to work with, to help influence the final project. So the final project was a tough one. It's a lot of times it was bigger, and people realized it got lofty, and then it needed to be more focused. But the real driver there was to give you guys some autonomy in your design decisions, as well as how you want to choose your projects, because up until now, most of the classes you're being given projects that are forced through from the teacher, which might not be conducive to your portfolio, might not be of interest to the students. So this allows the students a lot greater personal interest, so that you're not doing as much learning in some cases. Not all students took that. I think a few of the students decided to learn a whole new field or a whole new area, but that was also part of the excitement. And in that final project, I felt it was really important for the students to use user research. So a lot of times we don't have the time in our working life, but also in our school life, to add that component and to have real hands-on people, the real user, saying, you know, this isn't what I like it this way. I like seats to be soft, I don't like them to be hard. And a lot of design is based on assumptions. And so in this final project, the idea was to see what the assumptions are. Do they match what me or you, the student designer, believes it is? In a lot of cases, it's surprising because it doesn't. And then in other cases, you see that it does align, and so there's more opportunity to use it and bring it into a creative concept. And then finally, in both the projects, I'm a firm believer, I come from an advertising background, is to think about concept. And a lot of times, we've been working and we've been learning how to do things by the rules, and we've been learning guidelines and do's and don'ts, but we haven't been pushing the conceptual part as much. So I wanted to bring the two together, and it really stressed the importance of how a concept can hold something together and give you opportunities in how it's delivered and how it's talked about and how it's visualized, so it crosses more than just style.